the British doctor, the doctor questioned recently by the LAPD regarding what she knows about the criminal gangs of doctors who conspired to provide drugs to Michael Jackson, says that she has been receiving death threats to stop talking or else. From Los Angeles, where I am being told, ladies and gentlemen, that the Jackson family is preparing a bombshell accusation against some of the people and organizations they, the Jacksons, feel are responsible for creating the isolation and facilitating the drug taking that killed the King of Pop. They are set in the beginning of this week to let that thing fly. But right now, meet Dr. Susan Etok from Los Angeles, who was asked by Michael Jackson to be his doctor. Dr. Etok, you turned it down. Why did you turn down that gig that Conrad Murray accepted?
Obviously, there's a moral obligation not to do that kind of thing. Michael was a good friend of mine, and there's no way I could assist him to do that kind of thing.
So by that kind of thing, you mean wantonly prescribe addictive drugs to, or provide drugs to Jackson?
Yes, absolutely. I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a PhD doctor, but 6 members of my family are in the medical field, and if I'd wanted to, I could have assisted him. But obviously, that's not something I'd be willing to do.
Okay, fair enough. You were questioned by the LAPD. May I ask you exactly what the angle was of their questions?
Well, basically, they wanted to get a wider picture of what was going on in Michael's life in the months leading up to his death, and find out the kind of doctors that were in and around him, and the inner circle, basically.
So did they name names to you? Was Arnold Klein, the dermatologist, one of the people they asked you about?
Yeah, they did, absolutely, yeah.
Can you name some of the other names they asked you about?
They also asked me about Alan Metzer, and the rest of the doctors. I wasn't aware of these doctors. Obviously, Conrad Murray as well.
All right, Dr. Etok, was it your impression that they are casting a wide net and intend to indict more than one of these guys?
I believe so. There are so many doctors that have been involved with Michael over the last decade and a half, who have misprescribed, overprescribed medication for Michael, and I believe that the police are going to try and trace these doctors, and they will be punished.
Well, let me bring in ace defense attorney Mark Geragos, who once represented Michael Jackson, and our own Kimberly Guilfoyle, the former prosecutor who often sits in my chair as she is tonight, and a more than able co-host on the program. Kimberly, do you get a vibe that they are any closer to bringing in at least the first of these fish?
I do, Geraldo, and I'll tell you, I've spoken with my sources at the LA DA's office, and I have a lot of people that I know down there from having been a prosecutor in that area, working against Mark Geragos in the courtroom. But I'll tell you, this seems to me like a spool of thread that's just unraveling, and we're finding out more and more about the secret world of Michael Jackson, the people that enabled him and that ultimately were responsible for his death. And I think what they're going to see is we're going to see more and more people brought in the investigation, and perhaps more charges filed. This isn't over by a long shot. It's just starting with Dr. Conrad Murray, but there's others that should be held accountable.
Mark, do you think that it will stay on the overprescribing or misprescribing or criminally prescribing doctors, or will it be a broader scenario, one possibly involving crimes like fraud and other financial crimes?
I don't think it's good that they're looking at fraud and financial crimes. I mean, they may be looking at it, but I don't think ultimately that's where they're going to end up. I think you're going to see everything related to prescribing, overprescribing, things of that nature. I think clearly the doctors that they focused on and the fact that they went into a pharmacy within the last couple of days tells you all you need to know. They're looking specifically at the prescribing, the pills, what they were, how many, the different names. Those are the things that they're going to focus on. And just like Kimberly, I hear the same things, and you can tell that something is imminent.
Imminent, and do you think it will be involving more than just Murray?
Well, I think that what's going to happen, if I had to guess or if I had to wager, is you're going to see at least one doctor criminally charged. I think you're going to also see the medical board simultaneously bringing charges against a number of other doctors, and I think they're going to do that jointly. And when I say bring charges, they're going to attempt to revoke licenses at the same time that they file criminal charges. And I think that it's not beyond the realm to see at least 2 doctors get charged at least at the initial stages.
And don't forget, Geraldo, the Attorney General is involved
Kim.
as well. The Attorney General is involved. Jerry Brown is the man who actually brought the case against the enablers of Anna Nicole Smith. He is on this case as well. So you've got DEA, the AG's office, the FBI. This is far-reaching. It's everybody who could possibly be involved in law enforcement. And they're going to do exactly what Mark said, is uncover all the people that are abusing their medical license and providing narcotics, like drug dealers on the streets that are killing people, and they need to be held accountable. This is a very widespread problem.